there are three main characters in the delegate pattern. First of all, the protocol. That's a contract of all the methods that are going to be utilized throughout. There's the delegating object. This holds reference to the protocol types and calls methods. And then there's the delegates themselves. These are the objects that conform to the protocol. And to put these into a bit clearer examples, here I have an example of a protocol. This is in SwiftUI. The example I have here, it's basically a fictional money transfer, and the amount of the money transfer is in sterling GBP, and it gets handled by two additional classes that implement this protocol and convert it into yen and USD. So as you can see here, that SwiftUI notation, when you have a class that conforms to a specific protocol, that's the way you do it. The colon followed by the name of the protocol itself, and then it'll have implementations of each of the items in here. So you have a function here, and it's going to implement that by multiplying the GBP in by the rate, and the rate for this particular object is 192. The rate for this one is 1.2. Now you don't have to make these objects with static values in them. You can have them so they're mutable, but anyway, this is the way they did this, just to go through the example. Incidentally, if you're used to Java, protocol is basically the same as an interface, or C#, it's the same as an interface, but the concept's the same. It's whatever happens between these two curlies here and the names of your functions is different depending on where it comes up. Now here we have the delegating object. In this case, I just called it a transfer manager. So it has references to the delegate. I made these weak for safety. It has a current balance. Now what this decorator here incidentally means is that it's being observed, but I'll talk about that in a different video because the observer pattern is another one that I want to go into. But here's the main function anyway. So I've got your current balance is just a wee double. So if it's triggered with this boolean set to true, it'll go up by 10, and if not, it'll go decrement by 10. So if there is a yen delegate, remember it's optional at this point. It doesn't know whether it exists or not. But if it's there, it's going to react to the change in its own way. And if the USD delegate's there, it's going to react in its way. Now they're separated out. It didn't put them in, put a comma there, and then just immediately put the USD delegate afterward. I separated them out to make sure that it gives a chance for one of them to be there or the other one to not be there. So here I have up above that, it's a little view. SwiftUI uses views as its primary entity within the user interface sphere. And here we have the yen and USD objects. It passes in, I pass in a transfer manager, which is the delegating type, and it just sets its delegates to these that are instantiated just at the opening of the view. Then what I have is a rectangle, and it has a wee tap gesture. Actually it's a Z stack, which means it's the rectangle with everything on top of it. So whenever you tap that, what's going to happen is it's going to run this method. And if I jump to the definition of that method, we saw it before. So just in this case, it's always set to true. So it's going to increase its balance, its local variable, by 10. That'll go up to 110, 120, what have you. Then these two will react to it in their way. So what they're going to do is they're going to print out the yen will print out its value and the USD will print out its value. So we'll just fire this up. So here's the button here. I press that, it's 110, and then we see the response by the two delegates. Okay, that's a fairly quick definition of that.